Hey guys, welcome back on the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. And today guys, more big news, more big updates. I remind you, the last video, you can find everything on André Santos deal and other stories, Mason Greenwood and much more. So it's plenty of news and you can go there. A few hours ago released this video for you. But now we have to talk about all the rest, because there are updates, midfielders video. And so we jump into it together. And let me start guys by announcing what I've been telling you. So Aurélien Tchouaméni for Manchester United, many stories, many news, many breaking news, many secret stories, but I always told you there are two problems. The first one, Real Madrid are not opening doors. The second one, and that's not a detail, the salary of the player. These two issues were creating serious problems to Manchester United dream to sign Aurélien Tchouaméni, because yes, as I always told you, Aurélien Tchouaméni was considered as the perfect player for Man United, a dream target in midfield, the perfect player to replace Casemiro and to add quality to the midfield, experience, elite player. But one thing is dream, one thing is reality in the market. And the reality was the salary was too high. And also, Real Madrid never really opened doors to Man United. Real Madrid never told Man United, if you make this bid for this money, we sell the player. This never happened. It was just Man United decided to try, but it became very clear that it was impossible to make it happen financially and also in terms of club-to-club desire with Real Madrid. And now Real Madrid have reached an agreement with Aurélien Tchouaméni and with his agent to sign a new contract at the club for the next 5 years. And it's a here we go. Everything done and agreed between Tchouaméni and Real Madrid. Now just waiting to exchange all the documents and sign the new contract. Tchouaméni will have a very big salary at Real Madrid. Everything has been agreed. And let me mention Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho behind the scenes was pushing to keep Tchouaméni. He wants that kind of player as well. Fighters with a top mentality, physical player. He needs that kind of player, and so he didn't want Tchouaméni to leave at all. When Mourinho did an interview a few weeks ago, in a clear way, saying that people say I want players out, I want players who had problems out, and we all know Tchouaméni and Fede Valverde had problems. Mourinho said, I don't want players to leave. Those players, I want them. I want this kind of hot players. And Aurélien Tchouaméni is staying at Real Madrid and signing a new contract at the club. Then, more to mention about midfielders, I wanted to take a minute, guys, to talk about Bruno Guimaraes. Because on Bruno Guimaraes, I've been telling you everything over the recent weeks, and my position remains absolutely clear. Arsenal want Bruno Guimaraes. Let's enter into all the details on every single side of this story. First detail, what happened so far? Newcastle and Arsenal have been in contact about the story of Bruno Guimaraes. Arsenal opening bid was 55 million pounds, rejected by Newcastle. Then Arsenal last week indicated to Newcastle via the agents of the player that they were ready to reach 65 million pounds, but Newcastle still closing doors to this possibility. So no to 55 million pounds bid, no to the suggestion to offer 65 million pounds. Then what happened? My understanding is, on player side, Bruno Guimaraes wants to go to Arsenal. Bruno Guimaraes has clear desire to go to Arsenal, and personal terms would not be an issue. So Bruno wants to go to London and wants to go to Arsenal. Then Bruno Guimaraes, from what I understand, didn't tell Newcastle something in an Alexander Isak story style like 1 year ago. Sell me or I'm not gonna stay here. Bruno Guimaraes wants to be respectful with Newcastle. If Newcastle can reach an agreement with Arsenal, Bruno will be happy to go to Arsenal. If this doesn't happen, Bruno Guimaraes will not create problems to Newcastle. So it's a different attitude by Bruno. Bruno is not saying, sell me or I'm gonna create issues. That's really important to mention. But Bruno wants to go to Arsenal. And now what's gonna happen next? My understanding, sources involved and close to the story, say that a transfer fee maybe around 90 million pounds could be the beginning of the discussion. Arsenal, from my understanding, are not offering 90 million pounds, at least at this stage, so it has to be negotiated. We have to see now if, from the starting point, 55, then eventual 65 million pounds, and the magic number in this case, 90 million pounds, if in this range, Newcastle and Arsenal can try to reach an agreement. This depends on Newcastle, because Newcastle want to keep the player, but Bruno has this desire to go to Arsenal, and this depends also on Arsenal, because for sure they have to improve the 55 million pounds official bid, but also the suggested 65 million pounds bid will not be enough. So an extra proposal would be needed to make the deal happen. But that's the story for Bruno Guimaraes. Arsenal are there, and let me mention one name also here, a coach, Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta is pushing and pushing and pushing to get Bruno Guimaraes. Mikel Arteta has always been a big fan of Bruno, since years ago. This is not the first time Arsenal are linked with Bruno Guimaraes. Why? Because Mikel Arteta is driving this interest, is a big fan of Bruno. Now, again, it depends on club to club, but 55 million pounds, no. 65 million pounds suggested, not in paper, not enough. Newcastle would open doors around 90 million pounds. Arsenal are not offering that. In this range, around 65 and 90, in the middle, they could try to find a solution, if Newcastle won't. Otherwise, Bruno will respect that, but Bruno made clear that he wants to go to Arsenal. So that's the situation around one of the most wanted players in the market right now, Bruno Guimaraes. Then guys, talking about midfielders and Brazilians, next 24 hours, medical test, contract signing, 5-year, 1-year option, 10% sell-on clause, 48 million pounds, 2 million bonuses for André Santos to Manchester United from Chelsea. André is done. One thing, the agents of André Santos are the same agents as Bruno Guimaraes. And also, important to mention, I saw somewhere intermediaries are working for Arsenal. Newcastle is not intermediaries. Bruno Guimaraes is represented by Giuliano Bertolucci, Kia Jarabchan and Alexis Malavolta. The three are together. This is the same agency working together. They are the same people working together. It's not intermediaries. It's important to clarify, because the agents of Bruno are driving this deal, as the agents of Bruno also made it happen for André Santos. So the agents of André Santos in that case is the same agency. So André Santos is a done deal. Bertolucci Sports closed the deal with Manchester United, and now focus on Bruno Guimaraes. Then I keep receiving many questions on what's going on with Ederson. Guys, first point, Man United in midfield, even after André Santos, feel they are not done. Ederson will undergo a medical this week, so it will be this week at Manchester United. There will be Ederson taking a medical in the UK, because Man United made the first check in the US, and they want to do more check with their own staff in England. At the moment, the deal is still not confirmed. So today I can tell you, Ederson to Man United, here we go, in the sense of what I told you in June. Agreement between all parties. The player is having a medical. It's all agreed verbally. But to tell you, is Ederson to Manchester United closed, signed, completed? Not yet. At this stage, not yet. And we have to be careful, because there is a medical to do in England, and Man United will then communicate to Atalanta and to the player what they feel about that medical. So we have to be careful and to wait until the end for that medical of Ederson. At the same time, André Santos medical in the next 24 hours, and Man United closing that. 4 top names, top clubs, but also some interesting deal around Europe, and so we jump into it together. And let me start with the updates on Manchester United. We have to start on Manchester United, because let me tell you, one of the big things to clarify in the next videos, and I'm preparing something for you to explain you absolutely everything, is on Bruno Guimaraes. Bruno Guimaraes and Arsenal, so that story is something I've been reporting on over the last few weeks. I told you about a bid sent by Arsenal to Newcastle and rejected by Newcastle, 55 million pounds, but there is more to say on Bruno position, on Newcastle position, on Arsenal position, and on agents. So it's an interesting story, and I will tell you more later. Now, let's jump on Manchester United, and let's start with Manchester United, because the deal is done. A name I've been mentioning here for a few days, André Santos to Manchester United. Here we go. The deal is done for the Brazilian midfielder to leave Chelsea. I told you, he's not untouchable. He was never going to be untouchable. André Santos this summer for Chelsea, because the idea of the club was to try generate some profit. They signed him from Vasco da Gama a few years ago, but it was clear that the match between Chelsea and André Santos, despite having also for 6 months the coach that made him perform fantastic at Strasbourg, Liam Rosenior, was still not working, and so Chelsea decided to sell André Santos. 50 million pounds was the price tag, and Man United will pay 50 million pounds, 48 plus 2. This is going to be the package, deal done immediately. The player is going to Manchester tomorrow for medical test and contract signing, and so André Santos to Manchester United is here we go. There is also a 10% sell-on clause for Chelsea in the deal with Manchester United, and André Santos will sign a 5-year deal plus 1-year option at Man United. Then, more to say on things happening. Real Madrid keep generating money. I told you about Nico Paz, Victor Munoz, Alvaro Rodriguez, Alex Jimenez, I'm forgetting someone, Mario Gila, all the sell-on clauses. Now, a direct sale to Betis and this Fran Garcia. Deal done. Fran Garcia leaves Real Madrid, 4 million euros in total. Remember what I told you in June. The strategy of Jose Mourinho Real Madrid for the left back. The starter will be Cucurella, the backup will be Alvaro Carreras, who is not going to Chelsea, is not leaving the club, and then Fran Garcia to be sold. And Fran Garcia goes to Betis. 3 million euros, one in advance, deal done. Real Madrid maintain 50% of the future sale of the player. And so it's a here we go for Fran Garcia. On the other side of Madrid, keep an eye on Morten Hjulmand, because the deal is advancing. Agreement done with the player a few days ago, and Atletico are pushing and pushing to close the deal with Sporting. Is almost done. So very close, Morten Hjulmand to Atletico Madrid. Meanwhile, guys, talking about Manchester United, we started on Manchester United. We have to jump also on a player that Manchester United have a sell-on clause for, and it's Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood, guys, is very, very close to becoming a new Fenerbahce player from Olympique Marseille. Fenerbahce today have sent their official bid. Atletico Madrid made some calls over the weeks. Roma, there were many rumors on Roma sending a bid. Roma never sent an official bid. They were interested in Greenwood, but they never sent an official bid because they had the feeling that this deal was impossible to complete on player side and club side. And now the deal is almost there between Fenerbahce and Olympique Marseille. 40 million euros, 2 in advance. There is negotiation on the final details of this package of this deal. Manchester United will get a percentage of the deal, and it's going to be in excess of 6-7 million euros. So right under 10 million euros for Manchester United from Mason Greenwood. The player already accepted terms with Fenerbahce. So Greenwood Fenerbahce player side is done, completed. Now working on club side to seal the final details and get it done. Then, guys, on Man United, I will tell you more, also in a next video, because it's plenty of things to mention. Managers, after the World Cup is always time, and for some national teams, the World Cup is already over, is always time to change. Brazil are not going to change. Carlo Ancelotti stays and will lead the rebuilding of Brazil for the next 4 years. Portugal changed because Roberto Martinez left right after the game against Spain, and the new coach will be Jorge Jesus. It's a here we go. It's verbally agreed, waiting to sign in the next days. Jorge Jesus, who is the manager who won a lot around the world, and now the Portuguese coach returns to Portugal. And he won the Saudi Pro League last season with Cristiano Ronaldo at Al Nassr, so the connection is very good. Let's see what Cristiano will decide, but Jorge Jesus is ready to become the new Portugal head coach. Coach is leaving, Javier Aguirre leaving Mexico with Rafa Marquez, former Barcelona defender, joining, and also Dalic, who did a fantastic job with Croatia, is leaving his place. More to say, we have to mention something arrived on my phone a few minutes ago, before recording this video. Crystal Palace, exclusive news, here we go. Oscar Mingueza, former Barcelona defender, playing for Celta Vigo, out of contract, free agent, attracted interest from Italy, from England, is going to Crystal Palace. It's a here we go. Pierre Saggio will have his new right back. Mingueza will sign his contract this week. Everything agreed for Oscar Mingueza, who will be a new Crystal Palace player. Also, another exclusive story from the morning, Daichi Kamada. One more season at Crystal Palace. Fantastic day to be a Palace fan, because to keep Kamada and sign Mingueza looks very, very good. Confirmation of what I told you over the night in the video here on the channel. Jesse Derry to Sporting is a here we go. Loan deal from Chelsea, new contract, and then straight loan. No buy option clause, no buy obligation clause. Jesse Derry will return to Chelsea in summer 2027, but now will spend this season on loan to Chelsea, while from Sporting to Chelsea today, the official announcement of Giovanni Kenda, who becomes a new Chelsea player. And just to close, some Premier League movements also to mention, because it's important. Brentford sign Callum Wilson, former West Ham player, signs a one-year deal at Brentford. It's agreed, it's done, so good moment also for Brentford. After the new contract for Mike Kayode, I gave you an exclusive story on my accounts, and now Callum Wilson also signing for Brentford. Meslier, new Arsenal goalkeeper, it's a here we go, deal agreed for the keeper who already had his medical in London and will become the new backup option. Let's see what happens with Kepa. There were links between Kepa and Inter, but that was not true. Inter signed Ivan Provedel as new goalkeeper from Lazio. Let's see if Kepa could go elsewhere, maybe in Spain. His market is still open, and for Meslier, Arsenal deal is almost closed. Just waiting for an official statement, but the deal is verbally agreed. And it's a here we go. Let me finish, but again, remember, there is next video coming, guys, and it's gonna be about Man United information and also something on Bruno Guimaraes, really important. For Dibu Martinez, keep an eye on Juventus, because today in Milano, in Italy, a meeting took place between Juventus and Dibu Martinez's agent. Juventus have genuine interest in the player. Juventus want Dibu Martinez. Now the deal depends on Aston Villa. If Aston Villa will reduce the asking price, Juventus can go and sign Dibu Martinez. They want him. He's the top target for the coach Luciano Spalletti. They want an experienced top leader goalkeeper. If they can't get this deal done, the alternative option is Guglielmo Vicario from Tottenham, who is out of Tottenham project and can leave the club in this summer transfer window. So let's follow the situation. Let's be attentive to all the latest. And guys, as always, I will keep you posted here on the channel. Remember to like this video, to turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your opinion. I'm reading you in comments, but don't forget, the next video is coming. Bruno Guimaraes, more to say on Man United, because it's not over with André Santos, and for sure there is going to be plenty of movements on several players.